All right. Good evening. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to The Unstoppable Singer. I'm your host, Danielle Tucker. I'm a singer, a vocal coach, and a lead singer with the Mighty Untouchables band. I produced and hosted the Pandemic Proof Singer Summit 1 and 2. And now I'm producing and hosting The Unstoppable Singer. And The Unstoppable Singer is a live interview style show where I'm following the lives of real life professional singers. And these singers have made great achievements in their lives and careers. And we cover everything from voice work, making money, booking gigs, songwriting, recording, session work, and more. We just kind of pulling back the curtain on the industry a little bit to take a look and see how our lives are unfolding. And with everything that we have been through in the past couple of years here, we strongly focus on going from surviving to thriving, working on safeguarding our careers, building strong bodies, minds, and open hearts. So if that sounds like something for you, then stick around. I'd like to introduce you to my incredible guest tonight. It is Suzanne Panza, formerly Suzanne Harper, because she is a brand new newlywed. So we'll talk to her about that. She's an Escondido, California native. She's an award-winning country singer-songwriter. She enjoyed great success in Nashville, where she competed as one of 5 finalists in the Texaco Country Showdown, taking, I believe it was second place. Sorry, I don't have the number there, but there were 25,000 competitors nationwide. Her journey has brought her top honors in many prestigious contests, including the North American Country Music Association International Female Entertainer of the Year and Horizon Vocalist of the Year. She was San Diego County Fair's singer-songwriter competition and Fox 5's 3 Minutes to Stardom. She was also named Star Repertory Theater's Best Lead Actress for her role as Madame Oh God, she's going to have to pronounce this in Les Miserables. She's opened for acts such as the Wallflowers, Tristan Prettyman, and Lee Rocker, and performed on stage with Sugarland. She later relocated to Nashville, where she was invited to record with John Carter Cash. Her first public release was a self-titled album, blending the art of country storytelling with an edgy California sound. So without further ado, let me bring on Suzanne. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm awesome. It's so good to see your face.
Yes, I know.
One thing I did not mention in your introduction is that Suzanne and I go way back to like when we were kids. We were kids. She and I
were
met.
kids.
Yeah, you and I met. We had a mutual vocal coach, Tercilla Romero, and she had some singing groups. And we were part of, I believe we were in the doo-wop group together, right?
Yeah.
Was it the Eighth Notes? Yeah.
Yeah. I think I started in the lower one and like graduated up into the same one as you were for just a minute. And then we did like a swing group together too.
That's
and we
right.
Did like,
First Flight. Yeah. I have no idea how I even remember these names.
I would never have remembered. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we had fun and we've stayed in touch ever since then. We kind of reconnected a little bit later, like after our college years, I think, at Gateway Community Church, where you were the music director there. And so we shared a lot of time there together. And I always kind of brag on the singers who come on here because they're all great singers. But you are like a phenomenal singer. Your vocals are they're just incredible. And I don't know, how else to describe it.
Oh my gosh.
I saw you had posted a little live clip of yourself singing at a club the other night. And I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, damn, she is a good singer. Great singer.
It takes one to know one. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. Well,
I remember when we were kids, I remember like when I would watch the older girls, because you were in like the one group older than I was, which was dumb because we were not dumb, but we were only separated by like a little bit.
Right.
But I remember thinking like, I want to be like Danielle someday. And I remember my mom, one time we were at like a mall or somewhere where we were performing, and my mom like looked at you and she was like, oh, that girl has got it. I was like, oh no, I want to be Danielle. I remember just thinking you were so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad that, we did stay in contact throughout the years, because I think I'm like especially fond of our time at, Gateway Community Church. Those were awesome times. And
they were.
Yeah, we have some good memories from then.
Yeah.
Yes. So, you are a brand new newlywed. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, we're so tired.
I bet. This literally went down this past weekend.
Yeah, like on Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm all hitting you up, like, it's not like you're busy or anything, but like,
it's
what are you
fine.
doing tonight?
It's fine.
Thank you. Thank you for squeezing me in. But congratulations. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I am too. We're so happy.
Yeah, I can tell. It's been fun watching your romance unfold on social media, and
I know.
It's so sweet. And I got to meet him too one time. You guys happened to be at a casino that I was playing at.
That was so funny. I don't know if I've ever gone back and told you that story, but like, because we were outside and we were just like chilling at the bar by the pool, hanging out, and we went inside to go back and like get dinner or something. And I was like, I know that voice. And Mike was like, no way. And I was like, no, for real. That's Danielle. Like, I know that voice. And sure enough, we ran to the corner and there you were. And he was like, oh, you really did know. I was like, I told you.
So funny.
So random.
And you let me drag you up on stage too. I remember telling the guy, the band on my break, I'm like, no, you guys, she's like a really good singer. We have to bring her up and everything. And they're always like, you know how skeptical musicians are when you say someone's good. They're like, yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, but I remember bringing you up, and after you went down, they're like, yeah, she really is a great singer.
That's like, we still talk about that day. That was so much fun. It was so hilarious. Because there were people, we were sitting out with the bar too. They were like, what is she doing up there? Just randomly got to go on stage. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm 1,000% sure we're not allowed to do that, but I'm like, well, we're just going to do it. It's all good. What are they going to do?
Right? What are they going to do? I know what are they going to do. I love it.
Aw, how fun. Well, hey, you know what? Let's jump into this. I start these interviews out kind of asking give us the 2021 year in review and tell us how 2022 is starting out for you.
Yeah, so 2021 was the year of just crazy change. And if 2020 went by at a crawl, 2021 was like a blink. It went so fast. So we got engaged Christmas of 2020, and then we moved from Nashville to Arizona in January. And we did some back and forth too, like, because there was some stuff to move and like ends to tie up. So it was kind of a bit all over the place. My two girls, they're in junior high now. And so there was a lot of like online drama with school and just trying to figure everything out, even into last year, because, we wanted them to have some flexibility and be able to like travel and visit family and do all that. So we tried to keep them online, and that was a big thing. But yeah, so we moved to Arizona, I was doing some music teaching at first, ended up just because of like not having a car right away, it just became kind of overwhelming because I got a second job as a preschool director or assistant director, which was super fun. And then just ended up kind of being a little too stressful with everything going on. My parents moved out here. We bought, yeah.
Oh
so
gosh,
they're like,
so cool.
I know. So they're 2 minutes away from us, which is awesome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then we bought a house in September in Tempe, and like we love it here. Live super close to a whole bunch of our friends. My guitarist and his wife moved out here as well, Eric and Ashley. I don't know if you remember them, but yeah
I do.
They moved out here as well. And then we got everything kind of all settled, and then Christmas happened and Thanksgiving happened, and it was just kind of all over the place. And of course, we were planning a wedding all at the same time. So the last 6 months of last year kind of feel like a blur. It was just like super quick, like everything flew by.
Yeah.
And then like 2022 has kind of been, so far all about the wedding up until last weekend. So we just had so much fun planning it and like spending time with our, family in San Diego, as well as from out here, and a bunch of people from Tennessee came out to celebrate too, and that was really special. So, and we did have karaoke at the wedding, which was really fun. Yeah.
Awesome.
It was hilarious. My fiance and a bunch of his crew sang Boys to Men, I'll Make Love to You. That's like my favorite moment of the whole reception. They all got up on stage and like sang it at me. It was amazing.
That's great. Perfect.
Yeah, it was great. And then it's been kind of fun because, in Nashville, there was just due to a bunch of different circumstances, I'd kind of taken a little step back from doing live music for a while. I would do it when it came, but it wasn't really like pushing at it anymore. And then this year, it's kind of felt like the right time to kind of start getting out there a little more. So this year has also been like, I know that was crazy to start doing that like while we were in the middle of planning a wedding, but had some opportunities come up, and so kind of started getting back into it and like really enjoying it again, which has been nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see that you've got some shows planned there already for this weekend, right? You're going to be at Bell's Nashville Kitchen on April 1st and April 3rd, and that's in Scottsdale?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we just I found this like open mic night page for Arizona residents, and kind of was following along and trying to find a few to hit up. And so I found this one at Bell's Nashville Kitchen. I was like, well, that's a sign. I should probably go there. Yeah. And it had a great Nashville, like they did a really good job. Actually, it does definitely feel like a Nashville vibe, a Nashville bar. So that's nice. Mm-hmm. There's actually several out here that are doing a pretty good job of hitting that same kind of vibe. So ended up just loving the place and hit it off and kind of booked a show from there. So that was really nice. Yeah, it worked out well.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's cool. I mean, that's exciting to, well, as you know, when you move into a new town as a musician, it takes quite a while to, establish yourself and really network around and, start picking up work. But at the same time, it's exciting. I mean, you've got this whole brand new clean slate and so many people to meet and learn the scene and check out all the places. Yeah,
it's kind of it's like that flip side of the coin. Like on the one side, it can feel really daunting. I was talking to Ashley Norton about this the other day because we were talking about booking a show together, and I was telling her like in some ways it feels like I a little bit lost my mojo. So it's like hard to get back out there, and like starting over from scratch sounds so tiring. But then at the same time, it's kind of fun because you kind of get to rebrand and rebuild and like start over in some ways. So it's definitely like two sides of the same coin. It's like a little scary, but also super exciting.
Yeah. And are you thinking about just like booking solo stuff, or are you thinking about since you have Eric out there, are you pulling a band together?
Probably eventually we'll do some full band stuff. I kind of want to like work and network a little bit, probably by myself at first, just to kind of get my feet wet and get in the door a few places. And then definitely, I mean, I love playing with a band. It's so fun. So like, I definitely miss that. It's been a long time since I've done like a full band gig, and I would love to do it again. So definitely on the goal list. But we'll probably start out solo gigs. It's easier to lug one guitar than like a whole band's worth of gear. So
it's cheaper too.
Yes, 100%. Less people to worry about, less organizational skills needed.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's
gotta start
great.
Somewhere. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I want to, if you don't mind, I want to go way, way back in your history, because I kind of, if you would tell us what your story is, what your musical journey has been like kind of from the get-go, because since I have known you all these years, I've been able to see the several different iterations of your career. It's starting out, coming at it from like, church music, to original music writing. You had a band, you moved to Nashville, like all of these different, big milestones in your career. So it's been incredible. And I think it's really important for other singers to hear, how these stories unfold and how one thing leads to another to another. And
Mhm.
I feel like your career is just like a perfect example of that. So take us back.
Yeah. I would also say, like, to start out with, a lot of the things that have led me to the next step in my career or life even are seemingly so random. They're like things that happen, like you stumble upon this person or this venue and you just like hit it off or whatever, and your life drastically changes after that. But to start, I was born into a super musical family. Both my parents are musical. All of my brothers are musical. We grew up like harmonizing in the car together from like, the time I could talk. My mom would say I was singing, and that's largely in part because my whole family was, everything revolved around music. And of course, it was predominantly church music at the time. My dad was a pastor, so it was church music and like oldies in the car, which of course with oldies, like, 60s, 50s music, you're getting that other, sense of harmonies, because that was so big in those eras. Those doo-wop groups have all those great backing harmonies and, parts in the background that you can learn to like sing along with. And so my ear just kind of got exposed to a lot of those when I was growing up. And so, of course, when I think I was 10, I think I was in 5th grade when I started with Drusilla. We stumbled upon this like random, it was like at a library. It was at the Escondido, actually, it was just something like this. It was at the Escondido library, and she was offering like a group class for kids interested in like learning, how to train their voice. And so my mom, of course, was like, do you want to do this? And I was like, yeah, maybe, who knows? Sure, why not? So we went, and after a couple of classes, Drusilla offered some private lessons, and my mom was like, yeah, let's do it. And then really, I credit what Drusilla with so much of who I am as a vocalist. I mean, she was my teacher for, from the time I was 10 to the time I was like 30. On and off,
Yeah.
And what a phenomenal teacher and just phenomenal person.
Yep.
And so, whenever people are like, well, how did you get something? Like, a lot of training with a very good teacher and a very consistent like life of training. You have to have some aptitude, of course, as well, but I credit so much of who I am as a vocalist to her. And then got into those singing groups like you were talking about earlier when you and I did like state fairs and malls, and kind of fell in love with performing through that, with like the thrill of just being on stage, which was odd for me as a kid. I was pretty shy. I definitely was more of like the quiet, don't get in trouble kind of kid. And so I didn't really like the spotlight, like in real life. Like if we were talking and someone was like, put me on the spot, it was terrifying. But if I was up on stage, it was exhilarating and super fun.
Yeah.
So, of course, through working with those groups was a great foundation too, just to learn how to, from a super young age, work with groups of musicians, which of course comes in handy later in life. But yeah, so did all those things for a while, continued doing private lessons for a long time. And then in high school, I got a guitar, got real into, writing songs, which of course some of the old songs I look at that I've written, I hope those never see the light of day. So bad. But, as a kid, it's just such a great way to express yourself. And, through the years teaching other people and like working on songs with other people, especially younger, like adolescents, working through that kind of same era, it's a great way in that part of your life to express yourself. So like if you have any ability to do that, it's so good to get like your soul out.
Yes.
So kind of dabbled in that in high school, started our first band with the Harper Brothers, and did all that kind of stuff, really cut our teeth doing worship music as kids. Did the youth group thing, and then of course graduated up to the adult services. And
big church.
Yeah, big church, yeah. And did that for a long time as well. And truly, like, the hours that I got to spend learning how to work with a group of musicians, and that setting is so invaluable as well. Like if you're going to go out and gig, it's so important to know how to interact and, you know, navigate tough conversations and give people what they need, which, like, admittedly was not my strong suit. Like I'm very creative and expressive, and like the organizational part has never been my forte. I'm pretty bad at it for the most part, unless I absolutely have to be, and then I'm like, okay, I got this. But in general, I kind of have a lot of trust too that things fall into place, and I've been really lucky that most of the time they do. It's not a great way to live your life. I don't recommend it. It just that's kind of how it happened. But you know, and was just so incredibly lucky to play with so many fabulous musicians. You know, like I don't think people realize how many great musicians come through a church like that you get lucky to play with, and like you not just play with, but like you get to play with them week in and week out. You get to know their heart, you get to know their personality, like they become your friends. And you know, when you're in a band with someone too, it kind of becomes like this, like almost like a trauma bond. Like we're in this together. It's like a fight, and we were like on my side. And so, you know, built a lot of really great, like you were saying, a lot of great memories through those years. And then I don't know if you remember this website. It was called Music Xray. I don't even know if it's still a thing, but it was like opportunities that you could apply to as a musician. And through that, I met my very first, like, real manager. She was awesome. Her name was Bobby, and she was friends with another gal named Vicky, who she introduced me to, and they ended up both becoming my managers. And Vicky, and Bobby did a bunch of things too before I met her. She'd worked with, like, you know, Blackberry Smoke and some bands like that. And Vicky was like, you know, she had worked with like Guns N' Roses and Motley Crue and like all these huge bands in the 80s. But of course, pivotally, she had worked with June Carter Cash, Johnny's wife. And she had done her last album for her before she passed away. She had worked with her on it. So when I kind of met those two ladies, they were like, well, we need to get you to Nashville. So we did this whole thing, and we flew to Nashville, and we ended up meeting John Carter, who's, of course, Johnny and June's son, and his now wife at the time. They were just dating, but her name's Anna Christina, fabulous musician and singer in her own right, and just really hitting it off. And, you know, he was like, you know, you should come record an album. So we kind of rearranged everything and flew out there and made this record at the Cash Cabin, which is like, it's still weird to talk about because it just doesn't seem like they're my friends. And so it doesn't seem weird now, but like at the time it was like such, and it is really still wild, but like, I don't know, it's just weird. Like on the one hand, it feels super surreal that, you know, they're these music royalty. They're the Cash family. That's how much higher can you get? But at the same time, just these beautiful, down to earth people. And I feel like, and that was another thing I learned in Nashville for sure, that like the upper and the echelons you go of, you know, people who are famous or whatever, usually the nicer and cooler they are.
Wow.
Like, everyone that I met out there who was like a big deal was just absolutely the nicest human beings, which was really great. Like, it's nice to see that good people can make their mark like that too. And it's, you know, you hear horror stories of people like to meet celebrities and they're jerks. That just wasn't really my experience in Nashville, which was awesome. But yeah, so in between jumping from San Diego to Nashville, there was a slew of competitions. You know, we did the Texaco Country Showdown twice. We got to play at the Ryman twice, which is, I mean, unbelievable. Like, I got to do so many cool things. We opened for Journey, you know, sang at a stadium with 60,000 people, and, you know, like, that was insane. But it's funny because you like forget about these little, they're not little, but you forget about these moments because I've just been so lucky. And truly, a lot of them I just kind of stumble upon, and it's not, the only thing I would say is the only reason I stumble upon them is because I'm out there doing things. You know what I mean? So you can't stumble if you're not walking.
Exactly.
Like, it is random, but at the same time, it's not like I was just, sitting at home, which is what I've been doing for the last year. So
Yeah,
I'm trying
waiting
to
for
kind of
someone
change it
to
now.
call you. Yeah.
Yeah, like, look it, don't you want to hire me? I'm just sitting here. So but then in Nashville too, I learned a ton. I mean, we had done some club gigging in San Diego, but not as much. And in Nashville, I really grew to admire so many unbelievable friends of mine that I made along the way who, they play these 4-hour gigs. And, I could list them all, but there's a whole bunch of them out there who are just incredible musicians, incredible talent. And they do this grind where they play 4-hour gigs, and then they take a little break and they go to the next bar and play another 4-hour gig. They play a double. Sometimes they play a triple. A couple of them who singers, not as much, but bass players playing a quad. Like, that's wild.
Oh, Lord.
If you're playing 12 hours of music, that's nuts though. Wow. But, and kind of learns the art of playing for tips too, which is totally different in Nashville than it is in San Diego, which was where I, grew up and cut my teeth in the music scene. And, in Nashville, it's super dependent on tips. If you're playing at the bars downtown. And so you kind of learn, my banter got way better playing in Nashville because you have to kind of learn to vibe with the crowd and get them engaged. And, they can go to any bar and hear a great singer. Truly, I mean, in Nashville, it's every bar you can go and hear a great singer. But that little edge you can have by pulling people in and interacting with them. And, but I was really pretty bad at that at first, at least. And, through watching all my friends who are these incredible musicians in Nashville, kind of learned, okay, well, I have to learn to interact with people from the microphone to make them more engaged, or they're just going to go to the next bar and hear the next singer, which is totally fine. I mean, if you have never been to Nashville, 10 out of 10, highly recommend. It's the most fun you'll ever have in any city. It's such a good time. So, but yeah, and then just life kind of happened and took a step back from music, took a step back from writing for a long time, a couple of years for sure. And then kind of dabbled here and there when opportunities would arise, but really wasn't pursuing it a ton. And then this whole last year, kind of felt that pull again. Like, man, I miss performing and I miss writing and I miss it. Like, what should I do? Obviously, get back out there. So, and then here I am after doing all these, people look at the things I've done and think, oh my gosh, that's so great. But I'm going to go hit up this open mic night in front of 5 people because I got to start somewhere. And I'm not I would never feel I don't know. I feel like if you look at that as an opportunity to just go network and meet people, I've played these big, huge shows, but I've also played to empty chairs, and everything in between there is fine. I used to judge myself so harshly when I would play a show or whatever, and oh, there's only 4 or 5 people here or whatever. But the reality is that every time you get the opportunity to step on stage, you're learning more about yourself as a performer, as a person, and you're learning about who you're playing with. And, it's not going to be completely empty. So if you're not going to make an effort for the people who are there, then what are you even doing? So lots of lessons learned along the way for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now we're here starting over. So
it's great. The most timely thing happened today. I was listening to a podcast that I listen to all the time, and it's not music related whatsoever, but he happened to be interviewing Andrew Osenga, the songwriter, and he has his own podcast called The Pivot. And on his podcast, he interviews musicians and songwriters who have had to do the pivot in their career because, they were at the top of the mountain, playing stadiums, playing with major artists and everything. And for one reason or other, either they had to move to another band or they had to just pivot and go in different directions. And, he interviews these particular musicians all the time. So he's got to glean all these great insights on, how this journey unfolds for a lot of people. And he just made the most beautiful statements about how so many of us, well, we start out as kids and we have this vision of what we want to do and this dream and this goal. And I think it's pretty typical that it looks like I'm going to get a record deal. I'm going to tour the world. I'm going to, these things.
Mhm.
And these things happen. They do for sure. But then I think for a great deal of us, somewhere along the line, the dream changes, and it's not a it's not a bad thing, and I'm not
Mhm.
sure what it is that kind of changes your heart about those things, whether you start a family or just, your feelings change or your goals change.
Mhm.
But I love that he made this statement about more often than not, when you make that pivot and then you come back to music, you're coming back to it because you love it. And you get
Mhm.
back to that place where you were as a kid, where it just lit you up and you
Mhm.
do it for free. You just love, love, love
Mhm.
it. And you're no longer in that position being pressured to um, do it for your career, doing everything for your career, writing
Mhm.
for your career, not necessarily for the love of it so much, but
Yeah.
because you need to get in front of this person, you need this person to hear your stuff. And there just is, I think, that level of pressure. It definitely can motivate you. It can pull you through, but it does
Mhm.
do something to kind of extinguish that, like, just inner
Yeah.
joy about what you do, and to be able to return to that is a pretty beautiful thing.
I mean, I would say that's 100% how my journey ended up being, when we moved to Nashville, and which I super don't regret. I love I loved my time in Nashville, and I love all the people that I met out there, and I love who I became after I went through everything I went through. And but truly it became, like you were saying about pressure, it didn't feel fun anymore.
Mhm.
And it felt like everybody expected all these things. And honestly, I still feel like that. Like I had a conversation with my best friends, and I told them, like, I feel like I'm letting everyone down, but I don't really want to do music anymore.
Mhm.
And they were like, well, you still are like a valuable person. Like, just
Yes.
because you're not going to go sing and perform doesn't mean we
Mhm.
don't love you or that everybody else is going to love you. But it did. I had that sense of like failing all these people who had supported me for all these years if I were to walk away.
Mhm.
But at the time, I didn't have it in me. I just didn't. Um, I didn't have the bandwidth to do what I needed to do for my life and like keep my life together
Mhm.
and try to do this grind and
Yeah.
do the gigging and getting in front of the right people and feeling all that pressure. I just didn't have it in me at that point in my life. So 100% right now, it feels like so much more fun because now I'm doing it because I want to and because I miss
Mhm.
it and because I feel more confident in myself as a person and as a performer. And I feel like, what is that phrase? Youth is wasted on the young, you know? Like
Right.
I wish, I wish my
Amen.
20-year-old self could know what my almost 40-year-old self knows.
Yeah.
Um, but the the good thing that I think, one of the other things, many things I've learned in my life, but probably my biggest life lesson, if I were to pass it along to people, is that it's never too late to start again. I mean, I have a tattoo. It's like always we begin again. It's never too late to start over. It's never too late to start something new.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not expired. Like I still have music left in me. So
Mhm.
why not just do it? I mean, what's stopping you? And I would say that to anybody. If you feel like, man, I just really don't love where my life is right now, we always have a chance to start over. You can always start again. It's just a matter of doing it.
Yeah, amen, sister. I think, along the lines of what you're saying too, it's such a critical corner that we need to turn in life at some point, as, creatives, to understand that that isn't our identity. It's a thing we do.
Mhm.
It's a thing, it's a service we provide. It's something that we create and put
Yeah.
out there, but,
Mhm.
I think I know it's time and it's experience, I think, that brings you to that point, but you gotta get to that point along
Yeah.
the way, or else failure could crush you, if you
Yeah.
don't understand that that's not your identity, and that, you're Suzanne, whether you're behind the mic or whether you're making dinner for the kids or whether you're, doing an office job or whatever. It's
Yeah.
you're the value, you're
Right.
the thing. And it's just, this whole crazy ride that we go on. It's a journey, and we're just becoming the humans we need to become, and all of the experiences are what,
Yeah.
are developing that along the way.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think
And I think too, it's easy as a performer or an artist or creative of any type, really, to kind of get lost in that identity. And I think I definitely went through that, when I got really sick, and I couldn't play my instrument anymore. Couldn't do much of anything for a while, but that took a really long time for me to overcome the idea that I had value outside of performing and music. And I don't know why I felt like that. I don't think I was raised to believe that. It was just, I think, when you're kind of an insecure kid and you find something that everybody is like, dang, you're really good at this, that becomes the place you want to live all the time, because you're getting all that validation. And I think, like I said, I wish I could go back and tell my 20-year-old self that there's more to life than everybody thinking you're the passerby.
Hello.
But there's more to you than just what you give on stage. And of course that adds value and people love it. And that's why I love it, especially, is because I love making other people happy. I love, and maybe not even just happy, but like giving emotions a voice is why I love singing and writing. It helps express things that it's easier to say with a song sometimes than it is just in regular words. And that's what I love. But, when you're young and insecure, it becomes that identity. And so it's definitely been a journey learning that, okay, that is a big part of who I am, but it's not the only thing I am. And what else do I have value? Like, where else can I make the world better, So,
yeah. Well, it's so true. And I think we get it in our heads because there's something telling us, whether it's, the people surrounding us or just it rises up internally, I don't know, telling us like, well, we were born to do this. We were made to do this, and I don't know that it's the actual art of singing or creating music is what you were made to do, but you're made to, you're made to pass this like inspiration, or you're made to evoke emotion, or you're made to do those things that really, the music's just like the medium, right? It's just the vessel, and I really think that comes through, depending on what you're singing or playing at any given time, because you can get up and do covers of, whoever, just some rando pop artist, and the song has no meaning to you, and you can, sing the heck out of it, but you don't feel that it doesn't, touch your heart. You don't get the feels. You just do it,
Yeah.
you're just doing it because you're a singer and that's what you do. But when you sing or play something that you wrote that has deep meaning to you, or if you're in a position where, you're singing to a room full of people who are celebrating the life of someone who just passed away, and you're there to, bring them comfort, that's when you come through that medium, and that happens whether you're singing or doing whatever it is, mowing the lawn. I don't know,
Yeah.
it's just,
Well, yeah, and it is true. And I think ultimately what I've learned about myself through all of this journey is that I do really just love people.
yeah.
I love relationship. I love getting to know people. I love hearing their stories. A lot of times their stories end up as inspiration for things that I write. And like right now I'm working at a dental office out here, and you wouldn't think that would be grounds for like a lot of emotional relational stuff, but like you meet these people that are just at certain points in their life, and you get to be a moment in their day where like they feel seen and heard and valued. And I think that's important no matter what you're doing, whether you're performing on the stage or you're working at a dental office. It's like your chance to pause and be present in the moment and connect with other human beings.
Yeah, 1,000%. Yes. So much of that. Another point that he had made, I'm talking about Andrew Osenga in this interview, was he also said, you really, you don't know this until you've kind of reached these levels in your career, but it's about the concept of making it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he found himself in a position where he was about to take the stage at Carnegie Hall playing guitar for was it Stephen Curtis Chapman or something? I don't know, a major
Mm-hmm.
artist. And that's like a lifelong dream for some people to like
Yeah.
play a venue like that. And
Oh
he
yeah.
said just randomly he checked his bank balance like while he was waiting in the green room to go out to make sure that he had gas money to get
Yeah.
gas in the car to go home, and had a negative balance. And just the irony
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah, the juxtaposition. I mean, seriously, like, I remember it wasn't too long after we had done the whole like journey thing, because that was a contest that we won, and we got to go to Provo and play like at BYU Stadium before Journey did.
Mhm.
And I got to sing in front of this crowd, and I held a really long note, and I got like this wave of a standing ovation from 60,000 people. Like that
Mhm.
was a mountaintop moment. Like that
Yeah.
was wild. And then like 2 weeks later, I was playing at a coffee shop to 4 people. So it's like, like truly, like concept of making it, like I don't know that I would even be happy if my whole life had to be singing and doing all of that for a living every day. I love that it's something I can do because I love it. And if I make money at it, great. I wouldn't say no to that. Nobody would really say no to that. But it's not like my end goal anymore. And I feel like when you're a kid, like you said, you look at it like making it, like, oh, I'm going to play this huge show, or I'm going to go on tour, and I'm going to do all these things. And then there's nothing wrong with those things. Those are great. But your concept of making it has to adjust to the way your life unfolds in a lot of ways. And sometimes you can, obviously there's people who go out there and hustle for it and get it, and that's more power to them. But for me personally, because it is such a personal thing for me, I really appreciate the luxury of being able to do it because I love it, not because I have to.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, and I think the moral to this story really is just love your journey, embrace it,
Yeah.
let things unfold the way they are. Just like you said, the big things that happen for you, just random people, but they happen because you were out doing what you were, what you wanted to do. And
Yeah.
these, incredible things happen, and you're still doing that. You're just in forward motion all the time. And, the room changes, the crowd changes, but, still you, and the more you
Yeah.
just enjoy it and, are grateful for everything that you're doing, the easier it's going to be for you.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And I think that's true. Like if it becomes a struggle and something that you like kind of dread, you really should take a break and give
Yeah.
yourself time to figure out why. I mean, it took me a couple years, but it came back around, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I feel like there's so much pressure, or at least I used to feel so much pressure to make it and to get big and to get a record deal and to be famous and blah blah blah. And the truth of it is like it's more meaningful to me to know that I made an impact on all these other people along the way and got to make all these awesome relationships and build all these amazing memories with people. Then, I mean, yeah, of course I would love to sell out a stadium tour. Who wouldn't? But at the same time, don't minimize all the cool stuff you got to do along the way, which includes people and making relationships and making memories with those people along the way.
Yeah. Yes. 1,000%. Well, Tempe, Arizona is lucky to have you. So all the Tempe people out there, look out. because this one right here is amazing, and
Oh.
I'd get her info right now if you can.
I'm excited. It's a great the community out here is super artistic and creative, and like the girls next semester or next year are going to like an arts focused high school slash junior high, which is
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, I'm so excited for them. So it's just like but the whole community is very like arts focused. It's really nice. It's really cool and so
Yeah.
supportive. So it's definitely a different area than the kind of places I've lived. You know, in Nashville, it's nice because everyone's a musician. You don't really have to explain yourself a whole lot. And out here, it's kind of not just music, though. It's like, you know, painting and sculpture and art. And it's just like, it's very, I don't know, I really love it. It's very eclectic, but it's really artsy and cool. I love it.
Very cool. I know we didn't
Yeah.
even get into the fact that you are raising two incredible singers of your own here.
Dang. Yeah, they are. I mean, they're getting pretty great. We love singing together. So for a long time we were just singing Hamilton nonstop together, and that was a blast. And now it's pretty much in concert all the time. So
Yes.
no complaints though.
All day, every day.
Yes, seriously.
I've got that going on here as well.
I know.
Yeah.
So fun.
They're so fun. I don't want to neglect the comments over here. We have Kathy woke us. Hey, she says, love this. Thank you, ladies, for sharing. Caught the last half.
Aww.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes. Hi, Kath.
Yeah. And there was an earlier comment. Hi, this is McKenna. I don't know if you remember me, but I was your student about 2 years ago. Hope you're doing well. I know I've had a student named McKenna. Have you had a student named McKenna?
I don't know. Not within the last 2 years. I don't think so.
All right. Well, then it must be my McKenna. Hello, McKenna.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by.
I'll have to look. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aww.
So, Suzanne, where can everybody go to check out your music and stay on top of what you're doing?
So really, I'm trying to post. I haven't used my band page in a while because it's like a full band page, and I'm not really doing that right now. So I am mostly sharing on Instagram and Facebook, and of course, my Facebook, if you're watching this, is now Suzanne Panza, so don't search for Suzanne Harper. And then my Instagram is right now is a Suzanne_Harper. So I think it's Harper too, actually. It's terrible. I should know.
Comments.
Yeah. So and you know, right now, kind of during this time of rebranding, I'm kind of still trying to decide like what to do with those official pages. So for the time being, it's kind of just I'll make all my music posts public so everybody can see them. So kind of just there. I don't have like this is remember earlier when I was talking about how my organizational skills are terrible? Case in point.
Yeah, you're not the only one. And where can we find your album?
So the Nashville album has yet to be released. Kind of slowly starting to pull that out and work on that. But all my other music is available like on Spotify. It's on iTunes. If you just search Suzanne Harper, or also Talk Like June, which was our old band name. All of our recent / older stuff is all over those. Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, any of those ones. So, yeah.
Great. Cool. Well, Suzanne, I love you. I'm so excited to see what the next iteration of Suzanne is going to be. And I love that you're bringing your music to the world again. And you really have a great new chapter that you're opening.
I know. I'm excited.
Yeah. The world is your oyster. So I'm excited for you, and thank you again for coming on to do this. I know you're tired from your wedding and everything you have going on. So thanks for doing me a solid here.
Oh, my pleasure. You know, it's so funny to think about, like, seriously how far back we go. It is so funny. It's a crack up. We were just wee babes. What did we know?
No, I know. So much fun though.
So much fun.
I love my history with you.
I do too.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna come see you when I pass through Arizona sometime. My mom just moved out there actually, so I'll be in the hood at some point.
Nice. Oh, I would love that. Yeah, come on over. We'll jam or not jam. Do whatever.
Yeah, that sounds great. All right. Well, we will stay in touch. Thank you to you. And thanks to everybody who joined us tonight. And thanks to those who jumped into the comments. I'll be back here next week with another great guest. And I just wish you all a great week. We'll see you soon.
Awesome. Thanks